What a game tonight in our nation's capital. San Jose, 43 contests into this season. So I don't know if you're going to pinpoint this one as the best win of the season, but certainly it qualifies as one of the best wins of the season. Sharks had lost 2 in a row, and it's not just how many they had lost entering tonight, it's who they had lost to and how they had lost to the Seattle Kraken, a game that they just kind of gave away, and then last time out getting stomped by the Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning 7-1. So I know I'm spelling all this out here and now, but I should just start the show, right? Let's get into it. Here's Night Shift.
Broadcasting live and worldwide. Here's Brody Brazil.
Sharks score in all 3 periods, now 22 wins on the season. It's amazing because Drew Remenda spelled it out so perfectly in our pregame show. The Sharks have done a really good job this year at minimizing the damage. What am I talking about there? They haven't gone on prolonged losing streaks. They haven't got so deep in a rut that they don't at least get out of it with a win here and there. And tonight was kind of that case. Like I said before, they had lost 2 in a row prior to this. Did you know that this season, they've only lost 3 in a row once? Those were their first 3 losses. They won 4 in a row, then they lost 3 in a row. Since then, they have lost back-to-back games 8 different times, which is a lot. But they've also lost back-to-back games 3 times already here in 2022. They were about to be a 3-loss-in-a-row team if they weren't on the right side tonight, but they prevail. They score first. In fact, they get the first 2. They get the final 2. And I don't think the Caps at 55 points. I don't think they looked bad tonight. This was not a case where, the Sharks, got Ovechkin and company on a bad night. I mean, they looked every bit as potent as you would expect. They looked every bit as good as the team that beat the Sharks 4-0 back on the 20th of November. So overall, you got to say statement win for the Sharks in this game. And it was on 2 fronts. The goaltending, which we'll talk about with James Reimer, 32 stops, and also the goal scoring for San Jose. And it was who scored, when they scored, and how they scored. You got a lot of Schneidbusters tonight. Noah Gregor, first goal in 20 games. Jonathan Dahlen, it has been a while. He's up to 9 now, but he jumped out to the first 5, it felt like, in no time. And he's had a hard time regularly finding the back of the net since then. Nicholas Milosh, first ever NHL goal. And Andrew Cogliano has played almost every game this year, but pots his 4th goal of the season. That was the empty netter, which put it away 4-1. And to be quite honest, I mean, watching this game unfold, it never really felt like a 4-1 game. And I do have to say that this is one of those cases where the score at the end is a bit deceiving. If you're just looking at, this box score at the end, 4-1, you say, well, Sharks might have been in control all night. Maybe they jumped out 3-0, and then it was 4-1 or 3-1, then 4-1. But no, it was 1-0, then it was 2-0, then it was 2-1. And the Caps went on a power play. That delay of game call, I'm still not sure on Logan Couture. Did that touch Brent Burns before going over the glass? It sure seemed like that to me. So I felt like at least they didn't get bit by a bogus call. The Sharks' penalty kill overall was pretty good tonight. Did not allow Ovechkin to do his thing on the man advantage, and they had a couple chances. So, again, it was who scored, when they scored, and how they scored. Just a really good win for the Sharks. I got to say, a Caps team also who, amazing as good as they are, right? 23 wins, and hey, the Sharks are at 22 wins, but 55 points for the Caps. They're now 1-18-0 this year when they trail after 2 periods. But I'm not, that suggests that a team, when they're down after 40, they have no chance at coming back. I mean, that did not look like it to me tonight. That looked like a Caps team that was trying to make a push, that was very much in this game, and was trying to equalize it, if not, hopefully take a lead. But it doesn't happen, and the Sharks get this statement win. Now, let's step back for a second. We've been talking about this game, how it played out in 3 periods. How about the overall bigger picture for the Sharks here? This has been a sequence where, entering tonight, in this month of January, a 2-5-2 record. You just lost 2 days ago, well, officially yesterday, you just lost Erik Karlsson for about a 2-month span. probably. There's a lot of, frustrations that were going on. Like I said, the last loss, that one was a hard one to swallow, 7-1, and then losing to the Kraken for a second time a game before that. But all of that now spin it forward and look at the rest of this road trip. You got the Panthers on Saturday. Joe Thornton. How about that? Sharks facing Jumbo Joe in Florida. Then you get Carolina on Sunday. And then to close it off the first day of February, you get Tampa. And then you get a dozen days off. Now, finishing strong is obvious, the importance there, but for two reasons. And I think some people will look at one automatically and forget the other. I don't know that everybody's considering both here. You need the points. You need the wins in these games. You need to keep pace in the standings. You need to be relevant in the playoff conversation. Because honestly, had the Sharks gone onto this road trip and taken none or just one of the four, that's going to knock them 2 steps back in any playoff picture, the wild card or even the Pacific. But not just that. I think the other part that needs to be recognized is win or lose, but hopefully win. It's how you're playing going into this break that is so important, because that's what you're going to sit on for those dozen days, right? You're going to sit on, are we better than that? I mean, is sour taste in our mouth? I need a break from this. Or are you going to sit on, man, I like the way we finish this. I hope we're able to re-energize. We're right in the mix. We're right there. Catch a breather and then go for it, because the Sharks are unlike a lot of teams, even in their own division. I mean, Calgary and Edmonton, they're not getting 12 days off to reset in the month of February. So this has to be the time where the Sharks capitalize before the break, then utilize the break, and then come back from the break even stronger. Okay, I do this a lot where I rant about the game, and I think I'm kind of going to just leave it at that. It was simple. It was straightforward. We had a lot of fun tonight, too, on our shows. I just got a brand new stick from True Hockey. Can't wait to use that on the set. I know a lot of you just saw that on Post Game Live. And I also had the confrontation, if you will, which is also posted here on the YouTube channel. Ryan Merkley wearing number 6. We got to have a conversation about that. So before we go farther, let me pull up the live chat and let me set us in the mood for that. You need some elevator music in your life, don't you? All right, we'll bring it up. We'll see what people are saying. I know on a big win like this, I could usually go a long time, but I feel like we may have already said everything that needs to be said about tonight's victory. It was important, but it was quite simple, actually, when you break it down. Ryan says, good game. Reimer was awesome. And when you get goals from guys who aren't Meyer, Hurdle, or Couture, good things happen. And I think that's just, like I said before, it was who scored, it was when they scored, and it was how they scored. Who scored? Players that are not necessarily in your top 6. Defenseman got his first NHL goal. When they scored first, they scored early, they scored late. And how they scored, quality goals by the Sharks. Nothing fluky. They played well. They deserve this. Haley saying, seeing Gregor finally sink one made my whole night. I absolutely agree. How many people have been on these live chats? And I understand why. Saying that Noah Gregor's right there. When's Noah Gregor going to, when's he going to finish? When's he going to start scoring goals? And then all of a sudden, tonight happens. First goal in 20 games. Did I not say that before? First goal in 20 games. So now what happens? Does the waterfall open up? Do the floodgates open up for number 73? I sure hope so. I mean, he's been right there. Just hasn't been able to find the back of the net. Alden is waiting for Saturday, waiting for all the jumbo impressions. I think we'll just have to find some good video clips, and then I'll just like what is it called? Not lip sync, but I will voice what I think he's saying. Hey, see, I can't do it in here. I feel like I can only do it when Curtis is there. Or maybe it's always bad, and I just feel like it's good. That and Reimer was... Oh, I see. That's this. Absolutely spot on. James Reimer was great tonight, and we didn't even talk about that yet. After starting last game and getting pulled last game, to come back with this tonight, another 2 or fewer effort. And Daniel Sprong's goal 14 seconds into the third period. I mean, right off the face-off, almost screened by the entire Sharks team, taking that D-zone face-off. Not saying fluky at all. I'm just saying that's one of those goals where you're like, I don't even know what just happened. So unfortunate that that's the difference between a shutout and allowing one for Reimer tonight, but whatever. Sharks win. He's a 2 or fewer status. That's all that really matters. Shout out to the Finn factor. Brody wins for... There's no race here for content and whatever. There's a lot of people hustling. I'm happy for everybody that's paying attention to hockey and the San Jose Sharks. Meyer battling Ovie was fun to watch. Well, and I just got to say, it was the sequence where 13-19, Logan took the delay of game penalty, which again, I still think it went off Brent Burns, either the skate, maybe the stick blade, or it ramped up off something. It had to. But on that power play for Washington, Ovie had a prime look on the left dot. He hit the post. And then crazy enough, Matt Nieto had a shorthanded chance, a one-on-none, that Samsonov was able to stop. But that was frustrating. Sharks almost got a shorty right there on a critical call in a critical situation late in the game. Eric is back. Well, thank you for letting us know that. Brody be picking favorites? Who's a favorite here? The Rhyme Dog is back. Gadjevich is beating up people post-game. The fight for number 6 is now a thing. Yeah. When Gadjevich and Hathaway went at it after the final horn, I mean, you don't see that very often. And I don't know if it was something in this game that set off Gadjevich or if it was a carryover from last game. I mean, hockey players don't forget. They take numbers. But I'm not sure. That was a little bit, I don't want to say uncharacteristic, but I did not see that coming. That's probably the best way to put it. Did not see that coming after the final whistle. All right, let's see what else we got here. That Gadjevich brawl at the end was the cherry on top. What a beast. And did you see the hug that Reimer gave Gadjevich after it was all over? Thoughts on the Dell suspension? 3 games. Yeah, I didn't like that from Aaron Dell, and I wouldn't honestly necessarily expect that from him. I didn't think that was in his arsenal, but let me just say, sometimes I think things like this happen and they're not, I don't want to say they're not intentional. You know, he had Batherson skating around him like that, and instead of maybe just sliding and throwing a hip, I mean, he clearly threw his elbow into his head. And I don't like to see that. I'm going to be flat out honest, but I don't think there was the intention like he saw him coming from 20 feet away and said, okay, I'm going to line him up and I'm going to square him away. I think it was just split second, in the moment, frustrated, probably, I don't know, the game situation, whatever, but probably just made a bad split second decision. And suspended 3 games, I guess, probably accordingly for that. Joe Thornton has only played 22 of the 43 total games by the Panthers. Could be scratched, or he could meet his ex-Sharks buddies at the beach. Well, I'll say this. If you're Florida and you know Jumbo at all, do you really think there's a way that they would scratch him for that Sharks game? Unless there's something else that we have no clue about behind the scenes. Can't play for some reason, but we know Joe Thornton. We know he'll find a way to be out there on Saturday. And I'm not saying Joe Thornton is going to want to rub it in the Sharks' face. I'm saying that that's the type of competitor he is, and going up against probably, what is it, would you say at least half to 2/3 of the team was around when he was? Let me think about that for a second. How many guys are on the Sharks how many guys were on the Sharks that are still on the Sharks when Joe Thornton was playing? I'd say at least half of the roster. Obviously, you know, Spugner, and it's just going up against San Jose. It's going to be interesting. And seeing Patrick Marleau do the same thing a couple years ago when he came back, that famous game at SAP Center when he was a Maple Leaf and they played the video and he got all teary-eyed. I know this one's going to be interesting because he's in Florida and it's not here in California, but wait until March when he comes out here. Wait until the reception that I know he's going to get from Sharks fans. I don't know. Nope, not a politician. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Maddie, of course I couldn't pay attention to the game because of class. You know what's funny, Maddie? Let me tell you a quick story. When I was my final semester of San Jose State, I kid you not, they just came out with Wi-Fi. I don't mean like the school well, they did install it, but like Wi-Fi wasn't even a widespread thing. Like Wi-Fi was hardly anywhere. But San Jose State, being an educational facility and being, cutting edge, we got this thing called Wi-Fi. Well, guess who had just bought a laptop like 2 months prior that had Wi-Fi? It was an old Apple iBook and that like polished white case, and yeah. So I spent my final semester of college in the back of class with the teachers. The professors thought I was taking notes, but little did they know this thing called Wi-Fi was out there, because who thought I could connect to the internet if I didn't have a 56K modem or I didn't have an Ethernet jack? Yeah, so that's what I was doing my final semester of college. Statute of limitations, right? I'm not going to get in trouble now. Knyzhov, not necessarily close right now, Christopher. I appreciate you asking. I was asking about that too, but that's kind of frustrating to lose Carlson. Hopefully you get Middleton back soon. But hey, Milosh scored tonight. You get Ryan Merkley right there for another chance. So you've got options. But yeah, Scott, and there's a video on my channel. I put it out yesterday summarizing the whole Carlson situation. So that feels like a trick question. I don't even know what year it is half the time anymore. Well, it's 2022. So I barely know that. I do know this. The Sharks are only 3-5-2 in this month of January. It has not gone well, honestly, and that's why tonight's win is so big for San Jose, because struggling like they have, going on this road trip against the teams that they're about to face, it's a daunting task. And there's a lot, I feel like, that could unravel on this trip. And I hope it doesn't happen. I hope you get more efforts just like tonight. Tonight was a great first step. But this is like a situation where things are meant to fall apart, and credit to the Sharks. Like I said before, could have lost for a third time in a row for only the second time this season, but instead they avoid the losing it all. They end that streak. Haley wrote 2012 on a forum the other day. Any thoughts on Yushiro Hirano of the Abbotsford Canucks? Hopefully I pronounced his name right. The first Japanese skater to score in the AHL. That's awesome. You know what? Obviously, hockey is a little bit of a limiting game in the sense that to play it, you need to be either where ice is, like natural ice outside, or rinks are. And so, I can't, I've never been to Asia, never been to Japan. I don't know the frequency of how many rinks they even have there, but to the point, for somebody to get to that level of professional hockey, even the American Hockey League, in a place like Japan, which non-traditional hockey market, I guess I'm saying, is awesome. It's in the same way that I can't wait to see more NHL players from California, from Arizona, from the southern part of the United States where it doesn't snow, where there's not ice, to go out and naturally learn how to play and skate and play the game. So it's fantastic. I wish I knew more about it. Now that you've mentioned it, I'll go look up a little bit more. I wonder how old he is. So, all right. Hey, that does it for this episode of Night Shift. I know I usually spend even more time on here, but tonight, going to try and take advantage a little bit of the, I stopped the stream there, going to take advantage of the early ending. So with that said, my gosh, hopefully I'm still on, because I actually hit the stop streaming button. So let's play it out like this. Sharks win. Everybody's happy. There are still some bigger steps on this road trip, like the whole jumbo meeting on Saturday, and then seeing Carolina on Sunday, back-to-back, right? That's a quick turn. And then seeing Tampa again after that drubbing. There's a lot of redemption to happen on the rest of this road trip, but you're not there yet. We're not there yet. As for tonight, the Sharks handled their business and handled it well. Scored in all three periods. Got the goals from players that put an extra smile on your face. Noah Gregor, Milosh, Jonathan Dahlen, and Andrew Cogliano. So 4-1 our final score tonight. That does it for Sharks Night Shift. you know I will see you sooner than later. And hey, thumbs up on this video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel, and check out my apology to Ryan Merkley. I posted that earlier here on YouTube. All right, good night.